What's going on, everyone? So what should the Miami Heat do? Obviously, look, they're trying to trade Jimmy Butler. Depending on what they get for Jimmy Butler, I think could potentially dictate which direction they go. Let's say they trade him to the Warriors and they get, a Kuminga and a Moody or, Andrew Wiggins and whatever else, whatever salary filler, right? It's like, okay, you got these young guys. Could you maybe pivot like the Warriors package and maybe go get a different star in the offseason or, before the trade deadline, kind of maybe make it a 3-team deal or something, right? Or do you just decide, you know what, we're going to hit the reset button. Let's restart. Now, I have proposed the idea of, because Jimmy has the Phoenix Suns on their list, do you maybe look to swap Jimmy for like a Bradley Beal? Now, you'd have to get like a third team involved because the money isn't quite right in both teams, salary cap teams, right? It's just very complicated, right? But you could get a third team involved, boom, easy, clean, and essentially it's what it would be. Bradley Beal goes to Miami, Jimmy Butler goes to the Phoenix Suns. At that point, I think, you got Bradley Beal, which I actually think he'd be better during the regular season because, Jimmy, both guys have injury issues. Bradley Beal, however, is younger. Both guys going to make about the same amount of money. He's kind of in the same boat either way. But Bradley Beal is a guy, probably gets back to 35-5 guy. He's a guy that can get you bucket getters, something that Miami's needed for some time. Closest thing they got is Tyler Hero, and he can be a little inconsistent. He can be a little hot and cold at time. I just think if you got that, if you got a Bradley Beal, I think you kind of reset around those guys. Take a year and a half, whatever, and kind of start resetting around Bam Adebayo and Bradley Beal. You got the dirty work players. You got the hustle guys already. You kind of got the pieces that you want and need, right? I would maybe even look to trade Tyler Hero at that point. No, he's 24, but you got Bradley Beal, so you don't really have the need for Tyler Hero the way that you do right now with Jimmy and Bam. So I think you go look to maybe move him and turn him into some depth pieces or a legit 3-and-D guy, right? Somebody out on the perimeter or wing, whatever, right? Can you turn him into something, right? I think, though, there is an argument to be made if you get, let's say you do keep the Warriors package, right? Just for argument's sake. Say you do get a Kuminga and a Moody and whatever else, right? Get 2-3 young guys from the Warriors. At that point, doesn't it kind of make sense to just reset? It doesn't make sense to just, Bam's 27, right? But if you go through a 3, 4, 5-year rebuild, by the time you're good again, Bam, where's Bam at career-wise? And has he already left by that point? Right? So I do, depending on what you get and how you end up trading Jimmy Butler, I do think that there is an argument to just full reset, right? Just start from the beginning. You'd probably get a ridiculous return for Bam Adebayo. Look at what some of these centers and stuff have been going for, right? Look at like Rudy Gobert return and stuff like that. Imagine what, if Bam was on the market, what you could get for Bam. Right? And if because Tyler Hero, I think at that point you keep because he's 24. Basically everybody that's, 25 and above, you just get rid of. And you just keep all the young guys. And then you look at Bam, because here's the problem, right? Just got a new contract. He's going to be making $50+ million a year, right? His player option doesn't kick in until 2028, 2029. So you essentially have him for the next, 3-4 years. But at that point, let's say it takes you 3 or 4 years to be a contender. Okay, Bam is now, 31, 32. Right? How tight is your window at that point? What is Bam like as a player? Right? Also, I think Bam should be a 4, not a 5. But you also have guys Ware. You have some young guys, Jovic, Jaime Jaquez, right? You got some nice young pieces that, if you want to keep Bam, sure. Right? But I think if you're going to hit a full rebuild, you might as well just hit a full rebuild. Right? Keep Tyler Hero, say it's 24, unless you get some, crazy return for him. Get a Kuminga, get a Moody, right? And just have young talent. You're in the Eastern Conference, right? You might still be pretty good. Right? You still might be a playoff team. If you keep Bam, you definitely might be a playoff team. But, even if you trade Bam, I think you could be at least a play-in team. Right? If you had, say, Tyler Hero with Jaime Jaquez, Jovic, where it becomes something, get a Kuminga, get a Moses Moody, have a 3-4 draft picks or whatever that you can now pivot and trade. You're in Miami, which is usually a destination for players and teams and stuff, right? Usually when you hear lists of stars wanting to go places, it's usually LA, Miami, New York, right? These places So I think even if you are Miami, if it's kind of one of those things like if you build it, they will come, right? I don't think you have to trade Bam or you should necessarily trade Bam immediately, right? Like you can give it a year or so. Because like what if you trade Jimmy? No, you kind of get the young guys, get the young package, and then a star does become available, right? It's like, or let's say Giannis does one out in the offseason, right? Like I don't think it's something where it's like, okay, we traded Jimmy, get on the phone right now, we need to trade Bam, right? No, I think it's kind of like put the feelers out, see what you can get, like because what happens if you get some like insane return and it's like you get one of these teams like Houston's like we'll give you Şengün and Jalen Green and it's like. Well, like, hey, all right. Like, you never know, like, what a team is willing to offer, what a team is willing to trade and blow up for. Or OKC, they're like, we'll give you 7 firsts and, J-Dub and whatever, right? Like, you never know, right? Is my point. You don't know what a team may be willing to offer for a guy. So I think you at least field the offers. It doesn't mean you have to trade him. It doesn't mean you have to move him. Also, what does Bam want to do, right? If you trade Jimmy, does Bam kind of look at it, if you get a bunch of young guys, does he look at it as like, do I really want to spend 3 years, 4 years kind of rebuilding, right? Like he may even be like, you know what, like, sorry guys, but I need you to trade me, I need you to get me out of here. I think if you're Miami, you kind of oblige him, right? But I do think, I don't think you do it immediately. Like I mentioned, I don't think it's something where it's like, okay, we traded Jimmy, get on the phone, trade Bam. No, I think it's like, hey, be patient. You can give it a year or so. Again, you got him for basically another 3-4 years, whatever. So it's kind of like, okay, what do you do in that regard, right? Do you kind of give it the year, maybe see the offseason, explore the offseason? Because like I said, the Bucks end up having a dump truck season again, and they end up getting eliminated in the first, second round. And Giannis is like, get me out of here, right? Like, and it's like, man, you give Giannis and Bam, it's a pretty good foundation, right? That's a pretty good start. And you could trade, now you got this young package that you could package together to go get him, right? Like, boom, perfect. Work out a sign and trade with Kuminga, boom, let's go, right? Hit the reset button. Maybe the Bucks are a team that ends up tearing it down, right? Or, maybe Phoenix fizzles out and Devin Booker's like, get me out of here. And it's like, Devin Booker and Bam Adebayo, that could be pretty nice, right? Like, point is, like, you can be patient. If you're the Miami Heat, you're in a position to where you can be patient, unless Bam is like trying to push and force his way out. If he's doing that, then you're kind of like, you're kind of in a tough spot. But I think if you're the Heat, you can kind of stay the course, be patient. But I just look at this team and it's just like they got a lot of young guys that have some potential that could end up being something that could make some noise. Problem is like like the pick situation and all that, like. Miami's not really in the best position to like full rebuild, but the East is just so weak. You only have to be like half decent in your play-in team, right? You only have to be half decent in your playoff team. Look, in Miami every year is basically a play-in team anyway, right? So it's like you might actually be better in the regular season, right? You might actually, because you got a bunch of young athletes and you got all these high flyers, and Tyler Hero now gets to be the guy, and maybe he can jump up to 30 a game or 27 a game. He's 24 right now, right? So maybe he gets 27, 28 a game, and then you add a Jonathan Kuminga alongside a Bam Adebayo. So now you got that athleticism, that 3-and-D wing that has star potential. It could be athletic and stuff. You add a Moses Moody who's got good size that you could slot in alongside, and he could be a guy that just he's shown some promise. He's 22 years old. Point is, you got some size, you got some athleticism, you got some versatility out there, right? Like, it's also one of those things, like, if you build it, they will come. So if you have the pieces, if you have the young guys, if you have the talent, and, one of these stars become a free agent, it's like, I could go to Miami, got me, Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo, Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody, Jovic, if you have to work out a sign and trade, you could trade 2 or 3 guys and still be in a position to where you can contend and stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see how it comes out. Again, it boils down to what does Miami get in a trade for Jimmy Butler, right? Because again, if they get another star or like star level guy like a Bradley Beal, okay, now you're in a position. Okay, it's like let's look to flip Tyler Hero, maybe some of these young guys, and go make a push, try to win a championship, or if you get the young package, like a Warriors package, I do think it's an argument of like, okay, it might be time to reset. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you think, yes, time to hit the reset button, time to rebuild, no questions, no ands, ifs, buts about it? Do you think, like, no, like, don't rebuild, stay the course, right? Trade Jimmy, whatever you get, try to build a contender ASAP. However you feel, whatever your thoughts are. I'd love to hear it either way, so let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.